Hello everyone, welcome to the 27th episode of the official Sucrose Stans Podcast. Today we are going to talk about the newly released endgame mode, Stygian Onslaught. Many people were hyped and now it's out and we have a lot of thoughts. And these thoughts are coming from Butter. Butter, yours.
Yes, hello. I exist. What's going on?
Yeah, you introduce yourself.
Oh, hi. Yeah, I'm Butterfer 0808. I'm me. I make some guides sometimes. I talk about Genshin Impact. Yeah, nice to meet you all. If you don't know me already.
Yes, thank you for coming. Then we have
You're welcome.
Then we have Flip as per usual. Flip?
Hello there, Flip here, and today I am in the. That was you guys. Did you guys forget the script? It was your cue to laugh, like immediately when I started speaking.
I mean the joke's kind of old, but I can,
What?
I can pity love. Okay, that sounded mean.
Please, can you all please pity laugh my feelings?
Laugh at your feelings? I'd rather not.
No. Laugh at the joke I was. Anyways, Okay. Anyways, I do Genshin math. That's about it. Hello, I'm happy to be here.
Okay, thank you, Flip. Then Havak next.
Hi, I'm a Genshin TikTok creator. Mostly I make guides, and yeah, there's not much else to say.
Yes, thank you, Havak, for being here. Then we have Rolfigas. He's muted. He will talk later. Then we have Martin.
Yes. Hello. It's been a while. I heard there's a new game mode, so I thought, test it out and give my opinions on it. Happy to be here.
Yes, thank you, Martin,
Quick
for
Genshin,
coming.
you traitor.
Hey, license break.
We don't judge.
Full
I'm
bait.
judging.
Full bait vacation. All right.
Okay, so let's start by going over the general stuff. So like, it's a 3-team mode, and how does the team building work? Flip goes first. Sorry, Butter. I will do Flip first.
How does the team building work? You need to have, if you don't have Movrika, Kanich, Varessa, and Skirk, just quit the mode. That's basically how it works.
I meant like
but
regarding team building, like, can you put the 2 characters in 2 different teams, and at which difficulty can you do that?
Oh, okay. Is this trivia? Okay, so regarding the mode, I think up to difficulty 3, if I'm correct, you can pretty much just run the same the same 3 characters across all 3 teams. But once you get to difficulty 4 and onwards, you can no longer share teammates, which compared to the Abyss, which has like a maximum of 2 teams, it does like just that alone already increases kind of like the ceiling for the amount of characters you need, which does make the game mode kind of more difficult at a base as you need more characters for it.
Yes.
But in a way, it's also kind of nice as, especially if you've been playing for a long time, you kind of have too many characters that you know what to do with. So, yeah. It's a both good and bad thing, I think.
Yes. Okay, the trivia was definitely correct.
There we go.
And then let's talk about the different difficulties. So, do you think, I guess Martin, because Martin is the difficulty expert, what do you think, where's the spike in difficulty? Are the lower difficulties, like, what do you think about the different difficulties?
I didn't know I was just the expert, but I'm flattered. So, I've looked a little bit into this whole new game mode shenanigan, and honestly, it seems up to difficulty 5, things are normal. In the sense of, if you were to compare it to a best floor 12, on average, it seems you can clear with a lot of content, with a lot of characters. To push an example, to give an example, that is, Lisa is able to partake in Century Onslaught Fearless mode, and you can clear with her. Running characters that are not even main DPS, like a full team of sub DPS with Fischl and like Cheverus can get you through it. Deloke is able to partake. Just if you don't have a, let's say, a cryo DPS, you can run Justice Coffee or Farina with Rosaria, for example, as like your quote-unquote DPS, and you'll still be able to clear. So it seems that the floor, generally speaking, for up to level difficulty 5 is okay. Most people are able to clear it, obviously with good investment and get good game knowledge, and you still have to account for the matchups. So I'm satisfied up to difficulty 5. Difficulty 6 is where things start being a bit questionable.
Yeah, we are going to talk about the higher difficulties also later. Then the different mechanics. So I think Butter, you probably know something about that. How do the different mechanics work between the up to the 4th difficulty and then 5th and 6th separate? Butter?
Yeah. So basically, I think up. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Okay, we're good. Okay, so basically, I think it was up to difficulty either 3 or 4, where all the bosses are just normal. And then from then on, they gain special abilities that aren't super special, but they do interact a little bit differently than just overworld or base bosses. For example, this time around, we have the Tulpa, the Hot Pot, and the Cryo Shield machine thing. So the Tulpa gains a shield that you have to break. The Hot Pot take longer to break, I guess. And the same could be said for the Cryo Shield boss. So this time around, nothing's too crazy. It's just you have to worry about an additional mechanic that could just basically hinder you more and restrict you with your team building a little bit more than the boss would in the overworld. They're basically harder to brute force. That's the point of these mechanics. They make you do what they want you to do a bit more than usual. Yeah, that's how I would sum up the special mechanics with the Stygian bosses at higher difficulty.
Thank you. This was all correct. Okay, then
All
what?
correct. Thank you.
Why are you actually like giving us trivia? I'm scared.
Huh? I mean, there's a bit of trivia like we need to talk
Someone
about.
came unprepared, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are the units that you would like that you think would make the mode a lot easier? And I guess Wolfigas, you can talk
Yeah,
about.
hold on. Units that makes it easier pretty much depends on the matchups. For example, on the Lava Dragon, you want a lot of Pyro Web. In terms of Pyro Web, on the 4-stars, it's like pretty much only Shungling. Bennett, you really want it on the Tulpa for the vape carries, so it's like out by default. Pyro MC isn't as fast, he's more so for, what's the name of the boss? Papilla? And Papilla is not here, so it's kinda out. It's pretty much just Shungling.
Next round, we have Papilla. Good luck.
Yeah, Papilla is there. It's
Papilla,
like
Turtle,
150 hit
and
shield.
Mexican.
Yes, it's a 150 hit shield, so maybe Pyro MC will get a huge hit there. But and for Tulpa is like just play out vape carries or a Hyper Bloom with high cost. You have no other choice. You could try a Chef team if you have Burning Open for the Lava Dragon, but don't.
Yeah, this is referring to difficulty 5. Right.
You can go like if you don't need the very best teams for each. Like if you can distribute supports in order to balance the power on all of them to clear them all completely fine, it's the best way to go. You don't just focus power on 2 teams and then the other team's just cooked. You divide the power between all 3.
Yeah, that actually makes it interesting because like a character not stealing support from another character is fundamentally more valuable for now than ever before.
Yeah, the trick is utilizing carries that don't overlap supports on all 3. If they overlap support, it can make things harder for you, which can be difficult no matter what type of player you are.
Yeah, I think regarding
Except Whale, of course.
Unless you're built like me.
Regarding one specific unit, I think it's very interesting because like she's a very universal character, but
Mhm.
this unit is kind of doesn't bring a lot in the other two fights. So you would only use her basically only use her against the Cryo boss.
Yes.
That unit is Farina, because Farina doesn't
Yes, yes.
apply any elements, or like is useless against Tulpa, and then he also makes the burning boss a lot more cringe. So
It's fine if you can have a pyro and a dendro that can break the shield extremely fast, and you just try to force on that 17-second window or something when the boss is like down. If you can do that, you get it easy.
I've seen a Nebula clear like that. You know, Karen, the guy that does the Morlani
Yeah.
clears.
Karen, yes,
Yeah,
I just saw it. I saw it too.
Yeah, I saw it
he
too.
did the and Nebula clear like that. It worked pretty cool.
Also, just to make sure, we're referring to the Fearless, like 5th difficulty, right?
Yeah. I
right
think
now.
it's like the
What's like the audience here? Because I feel like it's a bit harsh to say that only Xiangling. Like, yes, Xiangling is better than most other characters, but if you're dedicated enough of a Xiangling hater, I suppose, you still can run other characters like Chevreux
outside of
or
Xiangling,
even
you
arguably
can.
Amber.
You can
Yes,
use Amber.
Amber is very good.
There's
Yeah.
there's also Pyro MC if you really want to use him as well.
Yeah, right.
It's like always there, but Amber
Like-
is also always there, so it's pick whichever you
I'd always advise people to use Xiangling because it's the best, but there are definitely other options, right? Like, she's not the only possible way to clear it on difficulty 5. You can
I would
definitely cope with other Pyro units, and it will be more difficult, but it is doable.
For Xiangling itself is like, if you can put Xiangling on the Tulpa side and do like Mavwika Xiangling Bennett with either Sitlali or Philonen, or even Janssen, whatever, you can do that and it will probably be faster, unless your Mavwika is super overtuned and you rather just hyper buffer. You can do that.
Yeah, I've seen a
If
lot
you-
of.
I tried.
Huh?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I've also seen a lot of dual pyro carry with like Xiangling off field and then Hu Tao, Mavrika, or Alekin on field.
Yes. Yes, you can also do that.
And also, generally speaking, depends on how much investment you have into your account. This is all I assume. Again, we're all assuming that this is like C0, maybe R1 on the carry. But if you happen to have a bit more investment, specifically for the difficulty 5, you can actually start not caring as much about the team restrictions. Like, people have already cleared the automaton. Is that what's the actual name? Oversee device with melt
Yes, it's
instead of
automaton,
freeze
yes.
teams or cryo teams in general.
Automaton Overseer. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So let's call it the Overseer. So the Overseer, I would argue, like, is the most restrictive one, and it being able to be cleared with ML team and not an actual, like, freeze or mono cryo team is already proof of concept that, like, you can overcome these difficulties if you happen to have some investment into your favorite characters. But it will definitely be a lot more difficult if you were to just do what Hoyu wants you to do and actually, use the chilled units that you call them.
It can also open the issue that if you only really have one pyro carry, you rather have it on the Tulpa, not on the Overseer. Because if you put the pyro carry there, you put the Bennett there, the double cryo, what the fuck do you do against Tulpa now? You wanna do Hyperbloom? I guess you can do that for Div 5.
The thing I
But
saw
it's
usually is
rough.
that a lot of people have multiple pyro carries. So that's why, like, I think it might be a bit relevant that there's plenty of people out there that have both Yutao and Orlikino, or they might have Mavwika and, like, insert any previous pyro character. And that's just a theme I realized in most people's account. They have more than one pyro carry. It's not always the case, but it's generally speaking a safe assumption that most people have more than one pyro carry.
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
But
go
like,
and yes, Wolfigas.
but like if you only really have one pyro carry, put it in the tulpa. Unless you have a strong hyperbloom team for the strong hyperbloom doesn't go, but the hyperbloom team for the tulpa, and it can get it in 2 minutes. Do it, and try to do the melt on the overseer, but don't do that in Div 6. It's not gonna work out.
Ideally, you want to go with the correct matchups for sure.
Okay, before we get into the extreme meet and greet, I just want to don't ask. I just wanted to quickly go over the rewards. So Havak, do you want to talk about the rewards for the different stages?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you can get all the primo gems just by clearing difficulty 4.
Difficulty
think-
3, actually. Wait,
Oh,
I don't remember.
I forgot.
3.
Anyway,
I remember.
It's difficulty 3.
the only thing you'll be missing if you can't clear difficulty 5 is the feather and the weapon skins. I will say though, I personally can't clear difficulty 5 because I don't have a Scoffier and I don't have enough investment into my pyro carries,
And that's
which is unfortunate.
if you don't have the correct units, then it can still be very hard to clear the difficulty 5.
Skill issue.
No, this is not a
I
skill
don't
issue.
think it's
I-
the characters. I think it's also the artifact investment, right?
Just pull every single character.
Yeah, I also
Oh,
can't
yeah.
clear the hardest difficulty on my alt account. I just don't have enough
You
cryos.
suck.
I can still clear difficulty 4. Also, Flip, you barely cleared difficulty 5. Like, you should be quiet.
Whoa. Who
And
are
look-
you
look,
talking
Skirk
to?
R1.
Hey,
Skirk R1
let's
in her
not-
premium team.
She's not even max leveled yet.
Please, let's not dig fight. Please, keep that to the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pause.
Okay, so
I have a little bit more to say regarding the difficulty of like floors 5 or difficulty 5 and 6.
yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah. So, okay, I'm just gonna say everything on my mind right now. So, in my experience, Stygian is like many of you already said. It's a very big. Do you have the right character check? So, if you do have the right team, like the difficulty is so different than if you have to brute force with whatever you. Because if you have Escoffier and then you have the Spirit Premium team for the Overseer or whatever it's called, you can clear difficulty 6 like very easily at C0. But if you do not have that stuff, like it's pretty, like it could be unclearable even for difficulty 5. The same goes for like the other 2 bosses as well. If you have a strong Malika, a strong Kinich or Varessa, and a strong, like fully formed Skirk team, you can clear difficulty 6 at C0. Like there's many clears like that out there, and it's, in my experience, you can clear difficulty 6 in under 180 seconds with like C1 to C2 characters if you have like all the perfect teams. So
Yeah.
I think that's something I need to point out. It's just like the sheer difference, or like how, I guess, almost easy it is if you have like all the right team, which is a big ask, but like that difference is something I think I just want to highlight.
And the thing I want to also add on top of that is the biggest like thing that people should take out of this isn't that, oh, this is doable with said X amount of characters, that automatically means that like I have no excuse, or no one should ever say that, oh, you couldn't clear, so it's a skill issue and that and this. Because at the end of the day, you gotta also take into account artifact investment, right? Like the people who are clearing, let's say, Century Onslaught with Dea or Lisa or Rosaria, right? If you check their artifacts, more likely than not, you won't have the same artifact investment as them. Is it possible? Yes. Is it probable? That's the correct question, I think, to ask. So it would be much better, like Butterfly said, that you just have the matchup. because the
Butterfly?
matchup automatically-
Butterfly.
What? What?
You just call me Butter, bro. If
All right,
it's
I'll call
easier.
you Butter, man. So, like, my fellow podcaster Butter said,
Hell yeah.
like, you'd much rather have the characters because the characters will automatically make it doable at lower investment because of how much
Yeah.
of a check there is. But you'd have either or, right? You can't have like some characters and some artifact investment and expect to be able to clear, because then you won't. Like, if you had the correct teams for the first one and for the third one, but you don't have the correct team for, like, let's say the second team, and your team is scuffed, then you might not be able to clear difficulty 6. It doesn't really matter how much of an investment you have on your teams, unless, again, you start going into constellations. So you want both a good matchup and a good artifact set to realistically be able to clear difficulty 6. But without having either or is going to be possible, but highly unlikely.
Yeah,
Yep.
but I think it's worth saying that like artifact farming is so much better now than before. Like, first of all, Stygian itself, it just gives you extra artifacts, and thanks to sanctifying elixir, the dust, the reroll thing, and the fact that you can Strombox everything up until basically 3 patches before, like the current, is just so nice. Like, right now, you can get a full stat so much easier than you could, like, even just a year before.
Yeah, that's
So,
very
if you
true.
are interested in, like, doing difficulty 5 or difficulty 6, I think, like, getting a good set on your characters is still, like, it's not easy, but it's so much easier than before.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
also
Hot
haven't.
take has the best artifacts this system out of all the big 3 high risk games.
That's crazy to say, by the way. Like, what? Genshin Impact, a good artifact? Huh?
I wanted to say though, we haven't talked about co-op yet. So if anyone wants to specifically talk about co-op, clearing this content in co-op, so it's until the
Yeah, I have nothing to say.
no, until
I
the
think
fourth
it's
To difficulty
stage.
3. Yeah.
I had to go grab my phone. If you're talking about co-op, actually, my first experience in the new game mode was fully in co-op. And actually, I got debated because I completed the whole thing in co-op, and then I was like, okay, I'm done with the game mode. And then I realized there's a difficulty that doesn't even appear in co-op, called dire. So that was fun.
It is still doable, but it's only doable for everyone when they have it.
For
right?
every what?
You can do dire.
You can co-op dire.
Yeah.
You can co-op dire, because
It's-
it didn't appear for me the first time. So maybe it's like if you clear it by yourself in your world and then you
Yeah.
co-op.
Exactly.
Because the first time
Maybe,
I did it in co-op, there was just nothing. Like the thing you click on to pop up the dire difficulty didn't even exist. So maybe I needed to finish the quest, because to be fair, when I returned back to my world, the quest kind of finished or something.
Maybe.
But yeah, my point is like, I don't know how much you guys co-opted, but I can talk about co-op if that's what we're doing now.
Yes.
Go ahead.
It's fun. I must admit, it's
Thank
actually a lot of fun. You did it, Toyo. You actually allowed us to play with other people, which automatically enhances the game experience. You can
I-
rely on other people having more investment into certain units that you don't have. You can switch up your team strategy. It is still annoying that you can't really switch certain things till you leave the window, but for the most part, I don't have too much complaints because they allow you to change artifacts, they allow you to change team comps. So it's honestly better than I expected. I don't really have much complaints about co-op. You want to say something, Flip?
Nice to hear.
I think it's co-op sucks.
Oh no.
Oh, let's do
Wow,
this.
Genshin
What-
is- Genshin just isn't built for co-op. I'm so sorry. I hate it.
Okay, what did you not enjoy about like the co-op experience?
Yeah, because I did the first 3 stages in co-op. What I don't enjoy is just that team building
Can you
in
be a bit
co-op
more
doesn't
precise than
feel
that?
good. What?
Can you be a bit more precise than that?
Then what? I didn't finish speaking.
All right. Go ahead.
I did the first 3 difficulties in co-op, and it just doesn't. I can't. No, most characters just aren't. Most characters in Genshin are built for one player. It's hard to use. Like Eonson is just completely unplayable in co-op. Shielders don't protect you unless you have specific constellations that give you like the shields to teammates. Rotations in general just can't really be executed properly because you can't really sync up with your co-op partner. And yeah,
I do actually.
Are you more talking about? Wait, sorry. Were you talking about like solo queuing?
no, I did it with a friend.
Oh, yeah. Like, what I will say is like everything, no matter how many people you have, it's like increase HP by 50%, right?
Does it?
Yeah.
I didn't even.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, unlike what certain others may have, said, you do not gain 50% more DPS, no matter what you do. If you have more than one on-fielder, that's just how the game is balanced. So yeah, I mean, your co-op team will never be better than your solo team. That's one thing.
Okay, there's one exception, and that's not to glaze, but on-field Emily, like Kinnick and on-field Emily in co-op was probably the most fun I had in the game.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm just.
It's one of the few
Sorry,
teams that can actually make use of on-field Emily in fucking co-op. It's so good.
Some thing like I definitely agree with Flip is that kids aren't made for co-op, and that's kind of sad because like the buffers. Shilonen doesn't heal. Shilonen doesn't heal in co-op, right?
The world falls completely silent.
No idea.
She does. I think she does. You just have to stand close or something.
Okay. Yeah, but then
I mean, I know for Sarah you have to stand. I know for Cookie you have to stand still. I don't remember exactly how Shilonen 1 works.
Chevy C6.
Cookie, you just have to have your allies be next to the ring.
Yeah.
Chevy C6 doesn't work for co-op. Jansan doesn't work for co-op at all. And then that's like one of the biggest buffers also. Also, why does Farina's... Okay, Farina does buff in co-op, but why does her UI not work in co-op? That confuses me. I want to see how much fanfare I have.
Oh, it doesn't? That's so dark. They should change that.
So,
yeah.
The thing about co-op... No, you finish what you want to say, man.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the Kinnick Emily example. I've seen it for Wales. I think VHCWSP had a co-op clear. Yeah, like that was pretty cool. But I don't think, like I said, no matter which team it is, no matter what you do, no matter how many characters you on field inside Bennett Ring, you will not gain 50% DPS in co-op. So yeah, I guess that was my point.
Let me take a guess who said that. Zajev.
Yes. Yes.
Oh yeah. I didn't actually meant that I think that on-fielding Emily will increase your damage by 50%. I didn't mean that.
Yeah, like it's fun.
I mean, it's a good increase regardless. Like Emily doesn't really make use of these buffs anyway, so that's good.
Yeah, and I feel like the usual co-op, that's another, like, I feel like co-op is just one person carrying usually, and then the others are like, yay, emotional support. I rarely feel like one person is doing the same as the other one.
I mean, usually depends. In Lava Dragon, having a C6 Bennett and 4 people on the field makes it somewhat easier to meet up the mechanic.
The way I personally see it is I hear you guys talking about like all the characters that don't function all that well in co-op, and that is true 100%. It's a shame that the developers don't take into account everything, like every new kit and how it plays in co-op, but there are also the opposite of that. There are characters that become better in co-op. Now, that's not to say or to be under the illusion that I'm saying, oh, go co-op and use this character and all of a sudden you're going to be able to clear, but it's to say you now have a game mode that can actually benefit from set characters and can make the characters better than they usually were. For example, that would be Dory. As it turns out, Dory energy generation helps a lot more when there are 4 people on field. And the amount of ticks of electricity that she can provide can be actually pretty substantial. Might not be important this specific rotation, but it might be useful in the future. The same thing can happen for characters that have quote-unquote more uptime. Characters like Ganyu, which is a pretty popular character. She might not be all that strong, but there are plenty of people who like playing Ganyu. Same goes, you can even argue for Risley to some extent. You can even argue to some extent Color End if you're gonna use 2EF. Like, there are a few scenarios that can make it where co-op becomes a different experience. It's not just, oh, I'm playing with someone, I'm doing less damage, and the boss is double the HP, or like 50% more HP. It doesn't always have to be necessarily that the case. You can try to min-max a little bit more the interactions between the different characters, and have hits that synergize with each other better. So you can have, for example, a character try to melt Ayaka's burst, while Ayaka's providing even more cryo application through her normal attacks or through her charge attacks. Sure, it's not going to be the most like insane thing in the world, but it might allow, like, for example, Ayaka and Yutao, or here's a bit more co-op team that I personally enjoy, Yumi and Ayato. You can have both of them kind of like, vape off each other. Sure, it's not going to be the most insane, again, damage thing in the game, but the way I see it is, or the way from my own experience in co-op was, I have Arena Constellations, for example. You have Nahida Constellation, someone else might have Nilo Constellations, right? Not a single one of us have exactly like the same exact constellations. So being able to benefit from someone else's constellation and they benefit from your DBS constellation can actually make it so you do clear in co-op when you couldn't clear in single player.
Yeah,
At least,
that's
again,
true.
that's what I ran into from my own personal experience.
I
Yeah, it's more fun, I think. Like different on-fielders, especially, you can play them together. And if a team has a pretty bad buffer, like I'm sure like running Skirk, Farina as Gauthier, and then like Risley or on-field Ganyu in the last slot is gonna be better than just a solo player running Shinha or like fucking Line.
yeah,
But
probably.
yeah, it's fun. If you can make it work, it's gonna be fun. But yeah, no, not a 50% DPS increase.
Yeah, like you're not gonna go with your friends who have no cons and you also have no cons and be like, all of a sudden, this is the solution. We can clear everything. It's more of like, you gotta think about it, right? And you gotta think about who you're co-oping with, or like you suggested, right? Just do it for fun, because you've already got your clear. You just wanna, farm, I guess, artifacts with your friend for like the 10 days they allowed us to farm artifacts there.
They do.
Wait,
So
you
cringe, by
can't
the way.
farm
Why
it
can't they
anymore?
just?
No,
You can, but you don't get a bonus anymore.
Oh, okay.
Wait, or can you not?
I don't think you can, because today I tried. Maybe I clicked somewhere or something, but there was only the key. There was no like the ley line flower. It just didn't exist.
No. I liked
That's so
farming
sad.
with it though. Why did
It's
that?
so much
No,
quicker.
man.
Just hold E, Q, and then they disappear.
Yeah, I did Mavrika Chiori. It was pretty funny.
E.
It was like my fastest. Yeah.
Based.
But yeah, I guess that summarizes the co-op.
Mhm.
Does anyone? I guess we should tackle the elephant in the room, which is Fearless. We have talked about it a tiny bit, but there are these 2 extra rewards that you can only get if you clear in Fearless. They are purely cosmetic.
Higher.
Dire. Yeah,
You
dire.
mean diarrhea?
But they look pretty, okay? Like I like these.
Yes.
And yeah, if you don't have the correct teams and don't have the correct but you still need signature weapons, right? Like if you have the correct
Yes.
team.
Okay. I think I'm the
Hopefully.
biggest. I am probably the biggest whale out of us bunch. So I feel like well, actually that's probably not true. Like Thunder probably has more C6s than me. But anyway,
Thunder
so-
mentioned to get him out
But
of here.
Honda's not
I-
here, so
yeah, that's true. So it's probably me. I spent a lot of time trying Dire, and I do not have Kinnick, so I'm like what 5 seconds off of 180 seconds. I will get it eventually, but before this cycle goes away, it'll just take some time. So, yeah, like I said, I kind of dislike the way that some people just dismiss Dire like existing, because like
I'm fine with it.
yeah. So basically, what it is just Fearless, but double the HP. Which means, like I said, you can clear with these hero characters, but you need the correct teams. And if you do not have the correct teams, you may not be able to clear, even if you have more than that. So, wait, what were we talking about again? I lost my train of thought.
You just said you don't like how people discount Dire.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, what I was saying is, okay, now I'm back on my train of thought. Your recommendations for Fearless should be the same as Dire. So, like, if you have the teams for Fearless, like, Dire isn't, like, different. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
A little
it
bit,
does.
because I feel like a lot of people might be able to clear Fearless, but nowhere close to Dire.
Yeah.
Or, like, I think clearing Dire in under 180 is, like, too much to ask for without, like, you actually spending a bit towards specific things. But I think just aiming to clear Dire under, like, full time isn't outrageous, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can see that. I think though, like, if you don't mind me playing the devil's advocate here, the reason people
You
might
do,
quote
yeah.
unquote dismiss it is it feels more of a banner situation where do you have the current banner character? If the answer is no, don't bother, because it's not gonna happen.
I don't think Dire is necessarily related to the current banner character. I mean, Lava
Yeah, it
Dragon.
is.
No.
Wait, no, what? What?
So my
Yeah,
argument here
the
for it
other-
isn't specifically like the lava dragon. My argument here is, for example, again, the overseer.
Sure.
How are you supposed to clear that without skirk? Like, let's say you have everything that you're supposed to have, but no skirk. Is Ayaka enough? Is she capable of doing it? Now, I'm gonna operate off the assumption that someone, somewhere in Asia probably, managed to do it. But the question is, what are the artifacts used, and at what time they cleared, and how realistic would it be to actually replicate said result? And from what I've seen, and I've really tried to look into it, it doesn't seem to even be the case. I have yet to see a Dire clear that doesn't involve skirk, and I've really tried. Now, obviously, like I said, I'm not saying that I'm all-knowing ChatGPT and I know every single person who ever cleared it. I'm saying for as
Okay, so you're
long as,
all-knowing
the
ChatGPT.
platforms I'm using, I couldn't really see anyone upload a Dire clear without skirk. Every situation was just skirk.
Yeah.
And that kind of discourages people because, well, not every single person who plays Genshin has built for skirk. A lot of people did, but a lot of people might be more interested in some other unit. I'm personally interested in some Copium where Capitano is going to stand up and we're going to be able to bull him and play him, Everyone gets to, be delusional to some extent. And that just makes it like, okay, is this doable? You try it with Ayaka, you try it with Ganyu, you try it with Risley, you try it with all these characters. You have Scoffier, you have Farina, you might even have Consolations on your Scoffier and Farina, and you still can't quite get it to, be clearable. So people just feel like, why bother, right? This is something for whales, because the game doesn't even, like, I think it would have been so much different, Butter, if they gave you the rewards for each stage separately, right? Like, if they told me, hey, you clearing the Toba would give you one weapon, that would change things so much. Because then people would actually bother with the teams that they have to counter the boss, right? But when it's you gotta clear all three of them, it's like, is it worth my time?
That's true. But, okay, I have to disagree with something. Like, the Overseer is not a you have to pull for skirk situation. It's you have to pull for a Skirk equivalent
Scoffia.
situation.
Wait,
So, like, if you have the Escoffier Farina core, like, Skirk will get the job done the easiest, like, at equal investment for sure. But you know what else you could do? Is have a C2 Ayaka.
Yeah, for sure. That I 100% agree with, right? And that's why I always said constellations can automatically remove a lot of the things we're saying. Because
Yeah, exactly.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, so I don't want. Yeah, exactly. Like, well, you said about it being like too difficult if you don't have specific things and like it just not being worth somebody's time. I completely agree with that. But what I don't want people to take away is like dismiss it as if you need Skirk, otherwise you can't clear it. Like no. Like if you have Iacon on your account already, it's not necessarily more investments, more vertical investment, terrible. Like it's not cheaper to go for a new character than it is to like just vertically invest into a character that you like, you play, and like already fulfills that function. So basically, what I'm saying is, yeah, they do force you to get a Skirk or C0 Skirk equivalent, and that is kind of annoying. But C0 Skirk is not the only C0 Skirk equivalent. There's also C2 Ayaka, and if you like Ayaka, that's what you should do. Yeah.
No, I agree. It's just again the issue is like generally speaking when people talk about these things they will just want to have an excuse, sorry to say. And if you're saying, hey, you don't need Skirk, just get cons, that will automatically default to people's head. Skirk or Whale. These are my options to clear Dire. Which isn't entirely true, because I think it's realistic for people who invested into Ayaka to have a con or two on her, right? Especially that she's a very old unit, and that's completely doable as free to play, because I've been free to play for multiple of years. But from an outsider perspective, right? They try to like, let's say, quote unquote, search online for clears. It's like, okay, C0 R1, it's only Skirk. Okay, when does Ayaka clear? Oh, it's at Constellation 2. It's at Constellation 4. It's at like Risley C6. It's at like other characters can clear it, but it's always with con investment. So the person automatically assumes this is whale content. This is not designed for me. It's either I get the banner character or I can't clear it. Because to be fair, Genshin doesn't allow you to pull on Ayaka cons currently. So if you wanted to clear this one specifically, you either had the investment already, which is quote unquote considered whale from like, you know, a new player's perspective, or you had Skirk, which is the banner character, you know? The problem and the solution.
Okay, I wanted to comment on something that Flip said like 10 minutes ago. Flip, you said that it doesn't necessarily shield the on banner character. And I guess I do agree, it's not directly, but like you're clearly supposed to play a burning team on the I know Veressa can do it, but other than that it's like a burning slash overload team, which clearly is for Emily, and then the Mavrika, which is a Silali team, like a Silali Vape team, because Silali is getting shielded, and then Skirk, Shenhe, and then just a cryo team. And to me that's like clearly the solution is on the banner. Like you won't using this banner.
The characters you just listed aren't on the banner though. So Lolly isn't on the current banner.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Lali
is in Mavrika's team, and Mavrika's the best to clear with like if you have Silali and you can clear the mode with Silali Mavrika, then you can go for Mavrika cons. Or you can go for Mavrika.
Sure.
I think what we're trying to say is more not that
Sure.
every single character is available, it's rather that the newest issue will have the newest solution with it in the banner, right? And the newest issue isn't the Toba or the Ravel Dragon, those existed for a while, it's the Overseer.
I don't think the Overseer... Why? I don't think Overseer is the only problem in this Stygian Onslaught. I think the other two are also bad.
It's not, it's more of that's the one that you can bait to bypass currently.
No, I
Like,
think you
right
can
now.
also do... If you have Silali, then you can very easily vertical into Mavrika without the perfect team.
Mavrika isn't on the banner right now.
But that's what I'm saying,
It
Saga.
will
The
be
current banner-
in 2 days.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was my problem with what you guys were saying. You guys were saying that you have to pull the current banner, but like the only current banner character is Skirk.
We are talking
The
about
other two bosses.
We are talking
Yeah, I know,
about
but I'm
the
saying
banners in this version.
One is talking about the current day, as in 24-hour, as of right
Yeah,
now,
but
and one is talking about in the current active
the mode
rotation.
doesn't disappear. The mode doesn't
Exactly.
disappear.
Flip.
And
Flip,
arguably,
think about it like this.
Scofier is more important for the Overseer than Skirk.
Flip.
But you can
When
pull
we
a
say
Scorpion.
current banner, like with respect to like an event like this, we're referring to one patch before the current patch that like it's on, and like throughout all of it. Okay, because we know exactly what this is gonna be.
That is stretching the definition of what current
No,
banner
it's not.
means.
Like,
It's not.
think about like it does, like that's like a potato. That's just semantics.
No,
We're talking about like
no, you can't say current banner. Yeah, but I also mean the one right now, the one in 3 days, and the one 6 weeks. What?
current banner maybe isn't the best word to put it, but you know
Say
what I mean. It's like
banners or something like that.
recent banner or near future banner. There we go. Like they functionally mean the same thing because you pull on these banners in order to pull for the solution for this event.
But yes, I do agree. But I just found it weird to call it the current banner when it's not the current banner.
It's
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
I
I
get
think
where
we're-
you're coming from, but like you guys are at least understood each other's perspective, right? One is referring to rotation,
Yeah.
one is referring to right now if you open the game, okay? I think we should move on.
Yes.
Yeah, let's move on. Saga, let's go.
Okay. Havak, do you have more opinions on the difficulty and the easiness of different units you can use and the whale and the bat? What do you think?
I do have something to say about the units that could be used. I don't understand why the Tulpa wants cryo, even though they could have just used the Suwani instead, if they wanted him out boss.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know.
They didn't want him out boss though.
I would have been fine with Pyro not doing as much damage because it inherently has an advantage against the boss, so you could argue for like a bit more diversity, I guess, in the elements. But the fact that Dendro also does like almost nothing against the little Tobas is, yeah, it feels a bit odd.
Unless they want, unless they wanted to somehow discourage Chevreuse or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it feels like to me. This was the Chevreuse chill boss, and now it isn't.
Yeah, because
And I took that personally.
Yeah, I was gonna say something I found very interesting. Well, it's kind of more funny than interesting. I think I don't remember if it was Dire or Fearless, but someone managed to clear every single boss in Stygian Onslaught with just different Chlorine team archetypes, and I found it hilarious.
Yeah, the same can be said, by the way, for the Luke. The Luke is, believe it or not, capable of clearing all of them. Now, he's not going to clear all of them consistently in the sense of, like, with different teams. Obviously, some teams are going to overlap. But if you want to get really technical, yes, you can get him to be in the first or second or third boss, and he will still be able to clear.
But I think the thing I found funniest was just the fact that for Tulpa, they just slapped Lolly there because you can get Electro Scroll in that team quite consistently through Electro Charged. I found it very funny. It was like Lolly, Chlorine, Fischl, and something, and some other bullshit.
One thing that I want to talk about, since we're talking about like dire, is Grizzly's situation is actually dire, and I don't mean the difficulty.
What do you mean?
He's one of the few units that I expected, since he's the quote unquote most freezing cryo carry we have, that he'd be able to absolutely destroy the Oversea. But from what I've heard from a few of my friends who have him, he's not very good when it comes to freeze teams. He really wants to react his bunches, and
That's
without
what
it, I
we've
mean,
all been
like, the
saying.
difference is huge.
That's what literally.
Risley is a noble carry.
He's worse than Ayaka in the Farina Chevreuse, or not Chevreuse, Farina Escoffier team, yeah.
Right, which is crazy to say that the unit that came out like a year ago is worse than the unit that came out multiple years ago at equal
Also-
investment.
Oh yeah, also like one thing I found very hilarious. Sorry, I was watching a video earlier today, and they were talking about like power creeping gacha games and units that need a buff, and someone said Risley was like power crept by Skirk, but no, he was just always he was mid even on his release. He was never like a good pull.
Yeah, I really
He was always kind of meta.
I was so confused when people were saying that at like C0 R0 investments at like very low cost, that Risley was always better than Ayaka. I was even before Escoffier, like Ayaka she was harder to pilot, but she got better clear times than Risley.
Risley's main benefit over Ayaka and Ganyu just that he's the easiest to pilot.
Yes.
And at least pre-Escoffier, maybe even pre-Malvika, you could argue his teams were, at least theoretically, they did the best.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Something like that.
He was like a 70k DPS merchant.
But also to be fair, right? And I don't want this to get a bit too hairy here, but like he doesn't have an Escoffier, quote unquote, for his archetype that he wants to actually be played in, you know? So I feel like Ayaka all of the sudden getting Escoffier level of like supporting did actually make a huge difference between him and her.
Yeah, I mean Risley just
According to rumors, in 6.1 we're supposed to get a pyro Escoffier.
Okay, shush.
It's not gonna.
I just want some kind
People
of
falling for fake leaks.
off-field pyro enabling unit that isn't Mavrika with faster application that doesn't have zero buffs like jungling.
Do you know what's so sad about
Percent attack
Malvika?
buff
Is
from the
that
Chili Pepper. Get going.
Malvika applies just too little cryo for Risley to do his optimal combo.
Cryo,
It's so sad.
Mavrika applies
So
cryo.
pyro, Malvika applies too little pyro for Risley to do his best combo consistently.
Yes.
So you either
You
just
wanna
have
know
to
what's
slap
actually-
Emily onto the team, or
What's actually really
Just do a
interesting
worse
about
combo.
that is that
What?
if you're a Risley main and you're planning to play him in a melt team with Mavuika, you don't want to get C1.
Malvika C1 makes it worse.
Yeah, it literally scrolls over with your rotation because she applies too much Pyro to the point
Isn't
where
it
you
she
can't
applies
refresh
to-
scroll.
Isn't that she doesn't apply too much pyro? She just has too much uptime on it.
Yeah, I meant like the uptime. I didn't mean
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the amount. I mean the units.
Also
So it's
arguably
really
is an issue with
stupid that
Mulan.
like you think the C1 is the universal support, but not for Risley. You don't want to get the C1, Mavuika.
It's
Yeah,
already
from
better
Mulan
than
as well.
Mulan, actually.
Yeah, for Molani
Like,
as well.
No. For Mulan,
Actually-
it's fine.
It's fine.
In my experience, like you just like, you can do a charge attack and a normal attack on Mulan very quickly,
Oh,
and then
okay.
that just gets the hundreds. Or you can
For
just ignore
Mulan-
it because, like, Mavuika C1 is enough of a damage gain that losing out on scroll from rotation through on, it's still a DPS increase.
Okay, thank you, Havak. Here's your answer. You have a better answer now. And we had a discussion about C1 Mavrika, and I told her that Molani, it wasn't good for Molani, but apparently it is. Okay, so thank you.
It's fine.
I was considering C1 because the Onson's on the banner.
Yeah,
Just
that.
get Emily Constellation.
Yeah.
Actually,
Oh, yeah,
speaking of Molani, here's a cursed piece of knowledge. You can actually run Molani with what's her name,
Well-
Granny Citalali, without actually screwing up your reactions if you do not activate the second passive for
Yeah,
Citalali.
yeah.
You always keep Citalali below the passive
You
level.
actually have.
No, you
I'm
can.
not,
have it
let me
after.
let me not. I'll not gonna get too nerdy into it. And I'll sure agree.
I
Yeah,
play-
I know it is possible
yeah.
after you level her up, but it's a lot more dank than just,
Yes, you have to keep her at
Unga
level
bunga.
40.
yeah.
I play Mualani
Or
Citlali basically every day. Like, it works. If you just line it up right, you can have the cryo going and the Hydra going at the same time and still vape everything. Like Mavrika applies enough.
I'm not gonna say
But
anything.
for
It's a
C4,
lot
like, you
more
have
dank and a lot more tight. We're basically saying like if you don't want to
Yeah.
worry too much about timing, you can just
Yeah.
get a City Lolly, give her low level, and you'll never have to worry about
Okay,
timings ever again.
it doesn't matter for the first rotation anyway. From second rotation
Yeah.
on, you need to like understand how to do it.
Neither do I think this conversation even matters that much. I just bought it as like a fun piece of trivia, because most people, if they buy a unit with multiple, like, potentially hundreds of bolts, you're not gonna convince them to keep the unit low level. I tried that. They did not listen.
Like, you do not need to keep her low level. You just need to learn how to do it.
Yeah, you're much better off doing that.
It's kind of impossible past the first rotation.
We don't talk about after the first rotation.
No, it's impossible to keep the cryo down, but it is possible to keep like vaping. Like Mavuika, you can time it so where Mavuika just applies enough pyro for both Citlali and Molani going at the same time.
Also,
And there's a
another
way
thing
to
that
do
a
it.
lot of people forget is you can apply extra pyro with Mavuika, like by doing a single left click before you switch off or something when you're on her bike.
Yeah.
Like there are ways to get around it. It's not like the worst thing in the world.
Exactly. Like there's ways to get around even Citlali C4.
Yeah.
Off topic. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah. We're getting really sidetracked.
Okay, I guess.
Wasn't Saga supposed to keep us in check? What a fraud.
Yeah.
But I was
Busy
interested in
killing the
discussion.
helichurls.
I was
Who's gonna save those poor
I was
civilians?
interested in the discussion. Excuse me.
My
Uh,
bad.
Okay.
I have so much to talk about when Milani comes rerunning because there is so much shit on her that I just don't want to stand for anymore.
No more Molani slander, please.
Yeah.
If only Mulani wasn't the worst Natalan DPS.
Damn. Bait used to be believable.
I think literally no one in this call agrees on that.
Hey, don't bush it, Sog.
Okay. Then let's. Oh my god. Ah!
Okay, I'm back.
Accidentally opened the file.
What's up? I went dinner. Did I miss something?
Yeah, the entire
nothing
point
really
of the
entire
technology, don't
episode.
worry.
Wow.
Okay, so I guess we've talked about everything. It would be funny if we just
Wait. There's
Rock
one
Biggers
thing I
came
want to
back
talk
and
about.
Yeah, let's just
I
end
would-
the
there's
episode for
one
today,
thing.
honestly.
There's only one thing I want to
Saga,
talk about. I
have we
don't
been going for an hour? Let's just end the episode.
it's been an hour. But
have anyone.
Look, time to end! It's time to end! Alright then, thank you guys all for
let
coming.
Rolf Biggers
Wow,
speak.
relax.
Have anyone talked about Nouvelette against Stygian Onslaught? No
We
one?
have
It's
actually.
shit.
Not a single
Can I
soul.
spit on him?
We actually did. We brought up Karen's clear.
No, that's
Oh,
against the other thing. That's against the hot pot, not the over.
I mean, like, Poop is not gonna do shit, but yeah.
Okay.
I just wanna say
Yeah,
that
he is-
he's got 8 so fucking dog shit against every boss. And even the next one is not gonna be that good. Even against
gonna
the
make-
Mexican, he will be dead.
I'm gonna make a video about how Nouvelette has just become a wheel. Like he's no longer
just-
a DPS. He's just what was the best wheelchair you can slot Nouvelette into? That's what he's become.
Doesn't he have a voice line where he says how the mighty have fallen or something
Yeah,
like
oh
that?
my god, thank you. Oh, I'm using that. Thank
Let
you.
the mighty
wow,
be
okay.
humble. Let the mighty be humble.
Surely I'll be credited, right?
You don't
Okay,
have a
yeah.
YouTube
Credit-
channel.
There is,
I don't,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
you
there's
can
also
credit
one
me
last
instead.
thing.
You should credit me instead. You're
Yeah.
welcome.
I
Stolen
just
valor.
wanted to look at the clear because I got interested. It looks very funny.
Yeah, you can do the
That's
same thing
a
with like the lava dragon clear with Nouvelette.
But Mualani's better because she's a better unit than Nouvelette, true.
Yeah, but Nouvelette. I'm gonna say Mualani can do it the same thing but better since her damage window is
Yeah.
more condensed than Nouvelette.
You know, actually, Saga, what we should be watching is something like this.
What?
Were
I
you
sent
sending
it to you on Discord.
Hyperbloom Lisa Overload Chlorant Bioinfused This difficulty 5.
Yes.
Nina, you like Lisa, so. Oh my god, it's
Yeah,
Lisa.
right?
Mm-hmm.
There was even, by the way, one thing that people didn't talk about is like very, very old DPS child
Who?
functions and
Who?
clear,
No.
confirmed. Some guy that Skirk used to teach at some point, don't worry
Oh,
about it.
I see.
Yeah.
I mean, you can use him with Kirk and never switch into him. Yeah. Wait, he doesn't
Yeah.
even buff her
Right.
talent. It doesn't even work.
even Ching is capable of clearing, which very hard air quotes on capable.
Ka-ching clearing?
Yes, she can actually clear difficulty 5. To me, it's a bit more interesting than the Luke, because the Luke is just cosplaying as Gaming usually. That's how he clears. You can clear, by the way, also the Toba
No,
with the Luke.
Cosplaying is garbing.
So here's the thing. Since you're making
stealing
fun of
that.
my boy, here's the thing. He can actually
I'm
still
stealing
clear it in a Dendro team, and believe it or not, a Persian team of all things. The Luke is capable of clearing the Toba with a Persian team, with Nahida.
Yeah.
It is out there, you know. It is something that he can do. So, like,
Okay, that is...
that's one thing I'm very passionate about, is that old units, really old units, like we're talking release units, that are DPSs, are not supports in any way, shape, or form, are still capable of clearing this difficulty, which is hopefully a balance I'm hoping the developers will keep in mind. Like, I hope
It's the-
they actually balance the game around the
Yeah, the
capacity
beauty
all
of
units
the
being able to clear with
ability, the beauty
Honestly,
of
no.
a game allowing you to vertically invest. Yeah, that's how it works.
In a
Yeah,
way,
but-
I like that, but in another, I hate it. Just make all units be able to not clear difficulty 5 Adal, no matter how much investment you have, but they can finally buff them. So they can buff them directly, like I just heard.
Yeah, I do
So
agree.
the thing
We
is,
need
by the way,
buffs.
guys, for reference, I'm not talking that those units are being buffed by constellations. I am talking C0 across the board. For both the Luke
Yeah.
and Kaching, they're still able to
Yes,
clear.
buff them C0. Buff their base kit
Yeah,
and
I would.
constellations.
I
if they don't.
unironically agree. I would rather they be shit in every single mode, so they realize that these old units are outdated, than like, yeah. So that they
Yeah,
actually get a
community
buff.
thinks- The community thinks that power creep doesn't exist because old units are still able to clear. It does
Okay,
exist. Look at the time.
Okay, I disagree with you heavily on that. I think the community overrates how much power creep Genshin has, actually.
It definitely doesn't.
What do you mean?
I don't know about that.
Here is another cursed form of knowledge. The Luke Virgin can also clear the second boss, the Lava Dragon.
I see.
C0 across the board. So, as it turns out, these bosses are not as hard as people think they are, for like difficulty 5 specifically, if you know what you're doing exactly, and you have decent artifact. Which, to be fair, the decent artifact part is a lot bigger of an ask than it is to collect the characters, because you'd be surprised how many people don't have that good of an investment into their artifact.
Isn't
I
the-
know. Yeah.
Isn't the Diluc build just mostly EM to trigger Burgeons?
Yeah, you build EM, right? Because you're getting Vapes and you're getting versions. So you are capable of doing it, and the Luke being able to, you know, apply Pyro on every single one of his E's, on top of, again, a few Pyro hits from his normal attacks. He's capable of being able to clear these content, right? And the reason I'm talking about the Luke and Kaching is because I mained them, so I'm more interested in those two units. But like you see in the clear I sent you, other characters that are also pretty old, like Lisa, are capable of completely clearing the content.
Flip
Completely fine, right?
reaction
way.
said, "Flip, are you drunk?" Because
What?
of that,
Regarding-
because
wait,
of the
what-
take.
What
The power
take?
creep? Power creep isn't as
No,
bad.
I said I think the community overrates how much power creep there is in the game. I'm not saying there isn't power creep. There's obviously power creep. But you said
Okay.
you think the community. What did Roll say again specifically, that the community doesn't think power creep exists? But like on Twitter, I feel like people complain that there's. I don't know. At least for me,
I guess
as
it
browse
depends
Twitter, I
on
feel like
the-
people complain that.
on the
Your
side.
brother, you need to get off Twitter. Like,
Yes.
you cannot use you can't use the amount of complaining on fucking shit like Twitter and Blue Sky.
Well,
So, like-
I'm about to reach 1,000 followers.
Bro, it's Twitter.
Come
Flip
on.
talking about his clout again. Can we give him a timeout?
Oh yeah. That's okay. That's
The butter actually just said,
Okay.
"Get your ass off Twitter." That was
Yeah.
not on my July bingo card.
Okay, by the way, real quick,
It's
real
June.
talk.
It's
There-
not June.
you
It's July.
mentioned
It's
Lisa
July.
clearing.
It's July. It's July. I knew that.
You mentioned Lisa clearing. I
Yeah.
want to see how many people did you know cleared 4-star only on all teams?
I know at
Zero
least
people.
two.
You can
All
do
teams
it.
4 stars. That I don't think that's possible.
All teams only 4-star characters, 4-star weapons.
But wait, it depends on what you mean. No, you mean I'm actually friends with them? Because then no.
No, people that you
what?
know, like someone that you saw. There's only one person that did it, and the
I saw it
investment
as
is so
well.
fucking big.
I saw it.
Wait,
Yeah,
They-
no,
they-
it's
wait.
ridiculous.
Wait,
but
what
I
three
think
teams
one
are you
thing you're
using?
misunderstanding is when I said Lisa, I never meant Lisa with full 4 stars. I meant just Lisa with the
Yeah.
support of other units. They can be 5
Wait,
stars.
Sorry, can we back
I know.
up, please? What 3 4-star teams are you playing that makes that
I can
possible?
search it up.
Okay.
It's
Now,
Yen,
the teams
I
is
think.
Xiangling, Bennett, Sucrose, Charlotte on Tulpa, Auroron, Fischl, PMC,
Official match.
Chevrolet on Dragon, Kaya, Rosaria, Chongyun, Janssen on SSA.
Eonson?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I'm
They
happy
can
to see it.
they can snapshot everything, and Chongyun's burst is like 1 second.
I can see
So
it.
they can use all the buffs.
Yeah, so this is like with what 5-star weapons or like our 5 banner 4-star weapons.
Yeah,
Our 5
This
battle
guy-
pass weapons.
this guy had like, I believe it had R2 or R3 Wolfang on Kaya and Bennett.
It's not going to be an
Let me
actual quote-unquote budget
Okay.
Do you
clear.
want to
It-
know what's the funny part?
No, it's
Look,
not.
if
It's
you
like-
see, if you see the Pyro MC build, he has an exact 100, 200 crit rate, crit damage on Sacrificial Sword.
yeah, I remember
my
that. That was
Is
that
that
was-
physically
this-
possible?
This investment is super unrealistic.
Can
I
someone
can't
send
clear
the-
4-star only myself on any of the bosses. The closest I got was Lava Dragon.
Can someone,
You know,
Oh my god,
I
this
don't
is.
have the investment.
can someone
I
send,
have
can,
a.
some, can someone send the
Yes.
video so I can put it on screen?
Let me
Four-
find it.
four
He
star.
looks right.
It's on your server though.
Yeah, I
The,
can
the
find
thing
it.
about those clears, by the way I like to think about them is they just do one thing. They make it so you can't go online and say this is impossible. However,
Yeah.
you can't say near impossible. That's how I like to treat those clears that are quote unquote 4-star only. It's like, yeah, okay, you got me. I can't make the statement anymore, but I'm sure as hell gonna mention that it's near impossible to do that.
Yeah, to me, it's already like if it's 2 seconds left on the. To me, flip clearing is nearly impossible.
What the
because
fuck?
Alright, we're
did-
back
did
at
you
them
see-
fighting again. God damn it.
Did you see the? You had like 120. You had 0 seconds
I
left. for
got
the
yeah, I got
IRK.
120 exactly.
Wow, how do you even do that?
Cause I'm the goat.
I meant like, how do you do that badly? But yeah.
Oh, okay, I see. Fuck you.
Is it artifact investment? Like, what's the problem?
Might be.
Me?
Oh yeah, his artifacts are very. I looked at
What?
them.
Whoa! Why are
His-
we roasting me?
His Xiangling does more damage than his Wu Tao.
Okay, guys,
we
guys,
need to
guys,
look,
can
we
we
need
not
to
start
comprehend
the
that.
vicious cycle of you don't have good enough artifact, he goes to farm artifacts, gets bullied for trying to farm artifacts, like he's at least working on
Wait,
fixing the issue,
he gets-
alright?
He gets bullied for farming artifacts.
I can't believe for
Uh,
anything.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I
victim.
found it. I will send it. It's a Billy video. Of course it will be Billy.
Uh-huh.
Well,
I
who else
love
would be trying to do this shit?
Okay, thank you. Oh, I saw a different one.
Saga, did you know that the increase Emily gets from C0 to C2 is 52%?
I knew that C1 was 30% or something.
Yeah, C1's 33%.
We love Emily.
What, isn't her sig really good as well? Because like it lets
Her
you
sig is
burst
a
everyone.
50% increase.
Okay. Yeah. So C0 to C2 R1 is more than double damage.
Almost, it's actually almost is, I think. Yes.
Okay, it's not.
Yeah, that-
It's fake 50%. I
Yeah.
disagree.
But
It's
yeah,
like that for Chiori as well. Like Chiori C0 to C1 R1 is a 100% damage increase.
But the reason why it's fake 50% is just because Emily's normally on Emily's best KQMS weapon she can't burst every rotation, but with her signature weapon she can burst every rotation.
Yeah,
so
but
it makes
in-
it
How's
so
that
much
fake?
more better. But in practice,
Yeah.
that's not how it really turns out.
Yeah,
usually.
in Kinnick and with a bit of energy, she can just burst every rotation. That's my experience.
Yep.
Oh wow. Okay.
I'd say what breaks 4-star only runs the most is starting with no energy, because every single damage dealer in 4-star only is burst dependent
Yeah, this is very
and have terribly energy generation.
wait, ooh,
You know,
no.
this
I
is
have-
where you go technically with the Sethos, but you're not wrong.
No one is
I
using
mean-
Sethos in 4-star only.
No, you battles in 4-star only is like top teams, but aggravate gets countered very easily in matchups, so it's hard
Yeah.
to slot in.
Sorry,
It's not
Aggravate
Sethos'
is-
fault
sorry.
as much as it's just the archetype fault.
I don't subscribe to that belief because Aggravate is the best team in the game. So
Yeah, maybe after the lunar and aggravate support.
Also,
Malani is the worst carry and Aggravate is the best team. I see those takes. I see when
someone's gonna
We
clip
should-
this out of context and take me seriously.
Maybe not for this episode, but we should talk about like which current decent CPSs have the most room to go at. Because like Mualani being like such a good example, because you can't really play her with Malika Siglali because that wastes your account. But like if you don't do that, what supports does she even have? Like fucking what?
Her
Sucrose-
best non-Mavlika team is Yolan, Shilun, and Shangling. I'm pretty sure.
oh god, oh
What
god.
is the gambling?
It's like that.
Why don't
That's
we
so
just put Mona in there and just brick the whole thing?
yeah, I mean, like I would personally just play what Shilling and Sucrose PMC or something.
yes, they
Like,
I'm
that's-
sorry, Flip, but I swear that team you just suggested sounds to me like a TikTok team. Where you get one good bite and then that's it. You go
it's
home.
not. It's actually
Wait,
the
no,
Mona team. Oh,
No, Yolan,
It's,
Shilun, and Shangling.
I mean, that's what
no.
all the yeah, not for like continuous DPS problem. I just hate like I have C2 Yellen. The way
I
it
love
just,
that. That's my favorite team. I love it.
like no for C2. If you have C2 Yellen, like the extra hit, it spawns a little bit higher than Yellen's normal hits. So sometimes it just breaks you.
Also, Saga, I saw some people question the Diluc thing in the chat, so if we have time, you can put the Virgin Diluc on.
okay.
I know
Also,
it's
look-
probably the best on
look, I
paper.
will-
Like it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
But like it's in practice
It's
for me because my Yellen is C2.
Oh,
It's only
Yeah.
said about that Diluc team specifically. They don't know why is the Dendro there. They don't know why the Dendro's there. They
What,
don't know.
the person in the chat, you think?
The Cryo Diluc thing or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
What?
wait, have you guys seen Cryo Deluxe Plunge?
Yeah, it's great. It's good, dude. This is why I love the Luke so much. Don't get me start yapping about him. Like he can be whatever element you want. You want Hydro, cool. You play Candace. You want reverse melt. You can play him with Nahida and Shongyun, and all of a sudden he's a cryo melter.
What about
did
Electro
it-
Deluxe?
Okay, listen.
There's
you
no
didn't have to
Electro
do that to
Infusion
me.
yet.
That-
I don't
that is
think there
still
will ever be one.
Oh
But
my
yeah,
God,
this is
Richard
like
Virgin.
the
Richard
Virgin-
Virgin in 2025. That's
And here's
crazy.
the thing. This is like not even against the Toba where you'd argue like Virgin makes sense because you still have like Nahida's Dend replication. This is against this guy, which tells you big no for Hydro or anything that like cools him off.
Okay, but Yelan might be carrying. Low-key.
I mean, Yelan
Yeah.
is C2 with R1,
yeah, okay, that makes sense.
sure, but the
Okay.
Nahida is without constellations, right? This is no constellation Nahida. The Luke is irrelevant. Like, it doesn't matter if you have him C6 or C1. It's about like 2%, 5% damage increase all the way through all his cons, basically. So like it is still impressive, clear to see, just as again a proof of concept that you can run things that quote unquote you're not supposed to run if you know what you're doing, right? Like he is running Hydro, but as you can see, he's not using the Hydro character when the boss is active. He only switches to the Hydro character when it's DPS window, which I think is a mechanic that a lot of people need to learn against these bosses specifically, how to actually do rotations that make sense to counter the mechanic, right? You don't just need to learn, okay, the rotation of Virgin is this unit, this unit, this unit in that order, because if that's the only thing you learn and you don't know why you're doing any of these things, you won't be able to do cool things like that in the game. Or at least for me, it's pretty cool to be able to see out of the ordinary builds like that. Still counter a boss.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
they are pre-stacking Primordial Jade Winged Spear. That's pretty cool.
On
Yeah, you
Shadowline.
can do that.
No, not on Aletino.
It was mainly just to show the Luke section, but yeah, they also have a Risley section in the same exact video if someone is interested to see like how Risley can still clear with like
Let me
C0
guess,
across
it's
the board.
C1. Oh wait, it's not.
No, actually, it's Farina. That's the one with cons.
Oh, okay.
Which I'd argue actually is a good point, right? Since everyone was arguing that Farina doesn't do that much damage against the boss, right? That like
Yes.
it's a bit more realistic to replicate it without constellations, maybe.
Okay, so that P1 is actually pretty good for
Yeah, this
everything.
is the part. This is
Yeah,
the
for
part I
sure. Like
like
it
about.
helps. It's not irrelevant.
Yeah.
It definitely helps.
See, for
Is
even
the-
C1 plus 50 damage percent average.
I think it's less.
The C1, I
It
used to
depends on
memorize
the
these numbers.
team.
I think it was like 35, something like that.
Because-
35 or 37, 0.5, something like that.
Because what it does is, first of all, like the instance you cast it, you get healing bonus. So like your healing just heals more. So after
Yeah.
the burst of your healer, you get instant max fanfare instead of like instance pretty close to max fanfare.
Yeah.
Or,
And also the cab increase is very nice because a lot of the times you're gonna be able to reach that anyway.
yeah. So like,
Which is one thing I like.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me praising Farina a little bit, is I think it's a bit underrated that the fact,
Saga just like dismissed disgusting.
like the fact that her uptime for her ultimate is higher than her cooldown, so you can like reactivate the burst before it ends,
Yeah.
right? So you
Allows her
don't
to
actually
scam
have
18-second rotations.
Yeah. I mean, what else are you gonna do? Normal attack on your C0 Ayaka,
Yeah, bro, you're gonna do that.
right?
Gurk and Escoffier saved Farina, so like,
Oh my
I
god!
can.
There it is. There it is.
Hey, he
yeah.
healed.
I can understand Farina glazing.
I just hope they keep with this, like, if you check the mechanic in this certain situation, you gain like 36 energy like SSA gives. The pyro one, you break it, you do self damage and fuck all. I hope they put more bosses like that and shapeshift mechanics to reward something if you check it, or penalize you if you don't. Otherwise, if they don't give you any rewards and just completely penalizes you no matter what, it's gonna be fuck ass in the future if they do that.
Which is
I
why I
hope
hate
they
the
don't.
overseer so much. Like, I hate the overseer so much because, like, I'm always used to bosses in general be like, you do mechanic, you get rewarded. With the overseas, you do mechanic, you don't get screwed over. It's like, yeah, but like, where's the
You
boss
have to
where you
get
shut
rewarded,
down
though.
or like, you take true damage
You
and the boss just looks at you and tells you that's the neat part. You never do.
The thing
Wait,
is that you do get rewarded. You get 36 energy, which is like 12 white particles. That gets increased by ER as well. So you basically, if you check the mechanic, you fix your first rotation.
Okay, can I
Like-
go slightly off topic?
No.
Go ahead.
Yes, we've been doing that.
The Farina thing, because like there was Farina glazing. I think Farina might not be in the Inefa Electro team because like her damage percent buff is completely useless for the Luna reaction, right? Like
Yeah, it's gonna be Columbina. Columbina's gonna be the hydro.
yes.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wait a couple patches.
Future and back, here we come.
Like, the difference between having the Furina's damage percent or even Cinder City is like 3% of her damage. Or something.
That's pretty
It's
funny.
very small.
Yeah.
Like, this is their way, this is their scummy way to counter Cinder City.
I mean, as long as they are countering Cinder City, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Because like Cinder City kind of broke the break
oh
the
my
game.
god, there's so many potential. I have so many videos clicking up. One of them is going to be how Cinder City literally ruined the meta.
Yeah, I have to agree with that take. It feels like units are balanced around Cinder City, and I don't like that.
It's more
so
of
good.
it's a gotcha game, and they were gonna eventually counter it by just being like,
No.
guess what? This boss is made out of an element. There you go.
I'm being so serious. There is literally no reason for Cinder City to exist. Dude, there's no reason for it to exist. It's
mean, it
so
existed-
stupidly strong for no reason.
It existed to sell Beeble Kachina at the start of Natlan, alright?
Pretty much,
They-
yes.
How can you sell a free unit?
Flip, what I will say is I really like how the Cinder City 2-piece works. I
Yeah,
think it's so
same.
nice.
Yeah, I think the 2-piece is amazing. You can even use
Yeah.
it on Shangling. I use it on my Shangling
Exactly.
and a Mulani Shilling team, and she gets
That's
so
what I
much
do.
energy refunds there. But yeah,
Yeah.
the 4-piece is too stupid compared to every other support set in the game. Like Noblesse is what 15%
Okay,
attack
bro.
or something?
You
With no
can't
20%
compare
attack.
to Noblesse and TOTM, please. That's literally hydrogen buff and a cuffing baby.
Like why don't make it give like 15% damage bonus, then an extra like I think 30% would honestly be fine.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
like-
it shouldn't have been like this amount for non-Natlan.
40% is literally Farina has to work so hard to get like a 37% average, and Cinder City's doing it off of just triggering a reaction.
I
mean,
think
that's
it was
kind of
just their attempt to like devalue Farina, right? It's the same thing. I think is why Novelette is being devalued now. I think it's just a gotcha thing where
And do you know what's
introduced
crazy?
characters-
Farina wasn't even devalued though because they released the Scoffia.
Yeah, but that's precisely my point, right? Is like, hey, try to get it out of meta, and then eventually they were like, oh yeah, wait, we need something to sell cryo units, and Farina's gonna be good there. So then I guess we'll allow this character to heal as well on top of everything else she does. And it's like, yeah, it's fine, it works. And like you said, Farina ended up not getting dated because of this coffee existence.
I wouldn't say it wasn't Cinder City that killed her. It was Sitlali.
I mean, yeah, no, for
Because
sure.
they
Also,
moved
like,
Well, Farina never got killed. Slayer raw there, pal.
They
Okay,
all
Flip,
moved
that's
the
that's where you're wrong. Like Farina between
Farina's always
5.3
been tier 0 on God.
between 5.3 and 5.5, no, he is not. But that's a brief period.
I also think
made
this
a video.
argument can be had in its own episode. The whole like what got killed and what didn't killed. Because to me, at least, I can kind of see where Flip coming from, in the sense of, I hate when people like, for example, right? They talk about Veressa and they say, "Oh, you play Cheverus, you don't play Cloud Retainer," as if like the difference between Cheverus and Cloud Retainer is like half the team's damage, right? When in reality, the difference between them is like less than 10k. Like, relax, you're still gonna be able to go well over 100k DPS, you know. So
I mean, yeah,
I-
Tenin is like good if you have C2.
you have C2 what?
Farina, I think.
Well, yeah, what I'm saying is I agree. Like comparing C0 Sanyu and C0 Farina to C6 Traverse, C6 Yansan just isn't fair to begin with. So yeah.
I'm laughing as if I literally didn't do that.
Oh yeah, Flip, you're the fucker. You fucker. You are the most guilty of this. What is this Chlorine above Arlecchino agenda with your C6 Yansan batting? What is that? What is that, man?
Dude, it's so funny though.
Where's the
It's so funny.
C6 Jansan coming for Chlorine?
I want to have a retake on that real quick. Now, I want to have a retake on that. I just want to say that my prediction about Skirk was completely right. They were praising her with Farina, Yelena, Scoffier, yet Chlorinde can't have Mavwika.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah, it's just weird how when it's a character people enjoy like Skirk or Nuvolette, let them have all the sub DPS in the world to still the carry. When it's Chlorinde using Malvika or something, Chlorinde is so bad getting carried by Malvika.
Dude,
It's so weird.
and
You know what I
Mavwika
think
off
it is,
field,
guys? I think it's
Mavwika
just
off field isn't even all that. Mavwika off field does less damage than Shangling in Overload nowadays. Like, what the fuck are you on about?
I think what it is, is TikTok brain. Okay, and let me just explain it very simply. When person see big number come from character, automatically assume that means that character is the carry. Okay? Like, if you do 20 hits and they're all like 50k, people don't care. Even if it happens literally twice per second. But if you do 300k once per rotation, that means that character is carrying. You know, I think that's simply just what it is. People see a big number on their screen and they automatically go, oh, my Colorant didn't do that big number that my Mavuika did. Therefore, Colorant is being carried by Mavuika, and the team is actually Mavuika being bowled down by Colorant. But if they see Farina and Scoffier and insert another even sub DPS, for all that matters, do like 50k each, they don't care because it's not a big number. It's a bunch of smaller numbers.
That's
I think
why-
literally it's as simple as that.
That's why I wish they would just show you damage contribution like at the end of chambers or like in the or like how much DPS you did. There was literally a leak in the private server that was like constantly texting the DPS because like someone was testing out something. Why don't we have that in the game? That would be so cool.
Yeah. Also, another thing that's kind of hilarious is that
So,
my brain actually just fucking died. Sorry, I don't know. I don't remember my train of thought.
Saga, to answer your question, my just assumption, right? I don't have actual data. I'm not Hoyo, nor do I have an uncle that works at Hoyo. But my
Okay.
assumption from playing other gacha games is the issue with you showing data like that is it would automatically be the same reason why they don't allow us to turn off constellations. It would actually show you the difference between the different constellation stages. Because you'd be able to see how little or how big jumping from C0 to C1 to C2 is due to that, let's say, table that would show you damage contribution.
Okay, but then you already pulled. I don't think they care about what you do after you pulled.
Yeah,
Also,
but
I re-
content creators exist, and content creators will show people that these constellations are not actually as big as they think it is.
Okay.
Well,
Not
it's
Don't
maybe-
you
It's
already
harder
do
to
that?
quantify, basically.
Doesn't Flip like in every single video, like if a constellation is mid, then he will point it out.
Veresa C1.
Oh no.
Yes, but believe it or not, this might sound weird, but seeing a
People-
pie chart
yeah.
or like an actual representation is different from seeing numbers, right? Like most people won't actually realize the difference between 105 and 110 kdbs as much as they'd be able to see two bars, and the two bars have like only 1 or 2% difference, you know?
One bar
Like,
bigger than
I literally
bar.
think it's that simple because a lot of people don't play these games as like exams or math. A lot of people just play these games as colors in front of them
Which
and
character
shiny
has-
numbers.
Also, I was gonna
character has
say,
the- has-
oh, go ahead, Zaga.
I was just going to which character has the biggest bar. Okay, Flip.
What?
I was gonna say, in a good gacha game like Nikkei, they actually like towards the end of at the end of any
Good
combat
gacha-
encounter, it just shows
Nikkei.
everyone's damage contribution, which I like, and it shows how much everyone healed, how much characters like shielded and stuff, which I think is cool.
Nikkei
Yeah,
and
I
don't know,
gacha
man.
game in the same.
Oh,
CCZ
well-
also has like a kind of similar system where it shows like at the end of a ZZZ combat encounter, it shows like a rating for each character who contributed the most and who contributed least. So it's kind of
I mean,
weird.
TUF
Like,
also
yeah.
had it, but we don't talk about that one.
Yeah, like when you die or fail a combat encounter in Genshin, it starts saying random bullshit like your artifact level wasn't high enough. Like who cares? But then they just don't show you anything beneficial, which is kind of weird.
You should
Yeah.
definitely level up all your supports to level 90. That would fix the
Yeah.
issue with that domain.
It also says talent level, effectiveness, and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
weird.
like you don't have your normal attack leveled up when you're free now.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Go level them up now.
Your Mavuika doesn't have her basic at level 10. Don't do that.
Yep.
Especially worse if the
What?
character only uses like one talent, like Nivola or Fischl.
Yeah.
Oh, is that true? Well, I guess it's like 90%.
I mean, the issue with that butter is you probably never seen it because you'd have to die in a domain to see that.
I don't think
Which I
that's
suspect is
happened.
pretty tricky for you to do.
I was also referring to the like how much like the thing that rates how good your characters are. That's just fake.
A bunch of people made videos on it, and the system is literally just how much things on this character can you still do, whether they make an actual difference or not. That's what the meter is, by the way. The meter isn't actually representative of your character's strength, and I think hopefully a lot of people covered that when it came out. It's just representative of there is something that you can make arrow go up. It sure as hell won't make your DPS go up, but it will make arrow go up and will make your resources go down, which is terrible. I think the reason they have that system to begin with isn't actually to help people, but to make people run into resource droughts so they actually buy more battle passes. But maybe I'm getting a bit too real here, so I'm gonna calm down.
Yeah, it also
It's like that for the artifacts. The artifact recommendations in game, they're so bad.
Yeah.
And
I don't like that they use usage rates for their guides.
Yeah.
that's
So
true.
I'm gonna say something crazy. I think the usage rates are being manipulated, both in like Genshin and HSR. I think they're bullshitting
What's the
because somehow the
conspiracy
signature weapon
theory?
is always like the signature weapon is also super high usage rate. There's no short, right? So many people in this game are like free to plays.
Lip is mad
No.
right now.
It's usage rate, not use rate. Like usage rate means if you have it, are you gonna use it? I think that's how it works. Like if you have the SIG, you're gonna use the SIG. It's not like how many people have the SIG and use it on this character. It's how many people that have the SIG put the SIG on the character. So yeah, of course it's gonna be really.
That's
it's
super like
misleading.
isn't that like super biased though?
It's
that is how it
misleading, yeah.
works.
Like that.
Yeah.
Like that's how it works. For, a YS helper, like the usage rate bat, and if you let best DPS in the game, that
I always show usage rates, but I'm talking about like actual in-game usage rate stuff. For
I think it's like the same. It's like, or maybe they're just bullshitting.
And I think
I think
also
they're making up. I genuinely think they're
leaving out
making up.
information. Like, for example, if people use Jade Cutter on Alhaitham, they might not show that, even though it's a okay option for him compared to his signature and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Because-
like alternative 5-star specifically sometimes don't get shown, and there might be an actual company manipulation in there, but I don't think people, generally speaking, take those too seriously.
Especially on I'm being so serious. Especially on like HSR, there's people just aren't pulling some of these light cones. There's no way people are pulling seriously pulling for a Woho's light cone or like sustains. It's so much bullshit. I don't believe it at all.
I just
Rant
said
over.
best weapon in the game.
Yeah, bro. It is what it is.
Also, someone said something really nice in the chat. Rap said 18% Chaska runs animal damage bonus goblin.
Oh no.
What?
which is to be fair, like I think that's true. I think just people see, okay, animal vision, animal goblet. That's how it works, right? Surely Chaska is an animal character and not just a
And
bio
also
character in
like 3
disguise.
people at most pulled for Chaska. I say as one of the 3 people that pulled for Chaska.
Okay, which is so funny because usually people just default to using attack goblet or HP goblet. I don't know why, but everyone uses attack goblet on every single attack scaler. And then when it's Chaska, it's obviously an anemo damage goblet. That makes sense.
I feel like they're being stupid on purpose. I don't believe it anymore. I feel they're being stupid on purpose. There's no way.
You'd be surprised how many people don't read the kit. Like, I wouldn't be surprised that most people don't even know that Skirk has an alt. They only see it in like the trailer, but they don't actually know how to trigger the alt.
Has an ultimate.
Yeah, right. Crazy.
Also, there's there's people out there that are actually using charge attacks to use Varessa's plunge, or people that don't, like people that just use the default burst on Varessa.
Okay, to be fair,
Yeah, like there's a lot of people that will switch it to Versa and use her alt. You're right.
I once tried to use her default purchase to see could I manage some weird energy bullshit and make her normal burst usable. I hated myself. Yes, Veressa. I hated myself.
Default burst does 0 damage.
Your default burst genuinely does less damage than if you just hold left click.
Dude, it's actually so sad. Like sometimes I try to get like a cinematic finisher with Varessa's default burst, and it just doesn't kill. I don't think I've ever gotten a kill with it. It does no damage. It's so sad.
I feel like they should.
I tried it. I tried to make it like work in a way. Yeah, let me just use her burst as a starter instead of a east charge attack. I hated myself.
What's hilarious about Varessa's burst actually, like her default burst? When Varessa first came out, people were TCing her for the first time. We didn't like. Obviously, we know now how to play Varessa, but we didn't know on release how well like her combos were. So how we calculated her was like by using her actual default burst and buffing it, which was horrible. Obviously,
No, it's not what you want to do.
yeah.
Probably why
But that's
she
early TC
was
stuff,
better
and beta
than.
stuff is always working.
That's why we shouldn't trust pre-release TC. True. I'm joking. Like some
Well,
I
pre-release
think it's
TC
the
can be
worst.
just
very
destroy
good.
two people's careers over here.
The
Saga.
worst part of TCing leaked stuff is the part that trusting leakers' gameplay is the worst thing of
That also, yeah.
gameplay.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's also true. They're so bad.
Meanwhile, HSR,
Also-
you look into HSR TC, it's like, oh wow, this new unit, 0 cycles at 2 cost, and then wow, what optimized gameplay. And in Genshin, it's like the rotation is stupid. There's energy is obviously like not correct. No crits.
Also, there is something completely like oblivious that still exists in the community, which is, I believe, friend mentioned, the amount of people who use Mavuika's burst and then just spin, and they don't stop spinning ever, which means that you will get like 2-3 melts, and then that's it. You're now melting like Lolly instead. Is way too damn much. I think like I might be out of my mind, but I wouldn't be surprised if like 30% of people who play Lolly Mavuika literally just spin. They never stop spinning.
30%? You mean like 70%, 80%?
You know, I'm trying to be safe here, but yeah, I was gonna go for more of like a 40-50%.
Nah. Yeah, speaking of, Mavika has like a few more combos that I think is worth talking about at some point. Because they're simple and like they actually give you a lot of damage.
Yeah, no, I have friends, right? I'm not gonna call them out, but like they literally
Really?
went for C2 Mavuika. I mean, imaginary ones, obviously. They went for C2 Mavuika, I mean, and they have also C2 Lolly, and they do not know how to do the proper combo, so they just spin non-stop. And I had to explain to them multiple times how like it doesn't matter how many constellations you get, you'll do more damage if you stop spinning.
Stop the
Like someone who
spin.
doesn't have comms and stop spinning might do similar damage to you actually, even if you have constellations. So please stop spinning. Take
We
a breather in between.
Yeah, we should
I
like
like
get
how-
we should get like signs and that say like stop spinning Mavuika, and then we protest.
Yeah,
That-
right.
that-
Like it's crazy how a lot of people think like buying cons is gonna automatically make it so they can play the character the way they want to play it, which a lot of the time that can be true, but not always. Like
Yeah.
buying cons is not always gonna allow you to do non-spin Mavuika, non-stop spin Mavuika.
Bro, honestly, I like
I think, yeah.
I like perma spinning Mavuika because it's like it's not only it power crept in damage, it also power crept in gameplay in a sense. Only spinning in Mavuika is like I press ult, I start spinning, I pick up my phone, scroll up something or whatever for 7 seconds, and then go back to the game. It's so big.
Like no,
I would
let
say
it-
like Mavika combos are easy enough that like I think it's just hold it down for 3 spins, let go, dash. Hold it down for 3 spins, let go, dash.
Or jump
I-
if you
I
want to
don't know.
jump.
Yeah, but that requires them to dash and to know when to dash, Butter. You don't
dash
know the
instantly
kind of
lands
people I'm talking
Okay,
about.
that's true. All I'll say is like I never play on mobile. Like I tried playing on mobile a few days ago. I got it first try, and it's just so easy.
There is a reason Zhong Li is still being used on mobile, and he's one of the most used characters ever. You know, we
hell
might hate it, but it doesn't
Um,
change the fact. In the big 2025, he's one of the most sought-after characters for mobile.
Okay, one thing I don't understand is why did they not like Mavrika isn't squishy. Mavrika is like the highest dealing damage character or something, but she isn't squishy. What happened to Glass Cannon? Where's that mindset? Like Linny is extremely squishy, and that's the trade-off for doing damage. And then Mavrika is just like a tank, basically.
I'll tell you what's the issue. Believe it or not, Saga. It's simple as you always run a healer with her. Try playing with Wiko without a healer. You'd be surprised.
I have done that. I still feel immortal.
Oh, and it doesn't even end there. Since Mavwika spins constantly, she moves her hitbox as well. So she technically dodges by default by just
Yeah.
spinning as well.
Yeah,
Th-
okay.
that
like-
is true, but I was thinking like if you do it against the Toba, for example, right? And you actually take a hit from the Toba without a healer, you will feel it. You might not die, but you will definitely
Okay,
feel
sure, but
the hit.
that's Trollpa, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
like,
can
I
argue
have
that's hyper
played-
specific because you'll always run the healer. but yeah.
Saga. Malvika literally plays 3 sustains on her team.
Yeah, I literally 5 seconds ago I've played her outside of these 3 sustains, and I still
Yes, but
feel like
who were
she's
you
pretty
fighting? That's
tanky.
the question.
I'm not
was
fighting
fighting behind
anyone.
the
I wanted to say one more thing because regarding defensive utility and Natlan characters, Jeff recently said that Kinnick is dies without a sustain, so you can play Jansan Mavrika,
Dude.
Emily, which was so confusing.
Yeah.
Kinnick doesn't get hit. Like,
Look at him.
Iansan heals about as much as
He
C4 Goro,
literally
and I
moves
witnessed that.
around constantly. Even if you somehow get burning damage, like you're playing a character that has range, how do you get
It's
affected
Emily.
by burning? I'm
Hey.
sorry.
It's
Yeah,
Emily.
I-
There is no burning damage.
I literally think, guys, we're overthinking this. It's as simple as if you're playing against something that can do an AoE hit, I can see the argument that Mavwika and Knichi are squishy. But if you're playing a character, if you're playing against something that doesn't have an AoE huge hit, yeah, you're completely fine, even without sustain. Like, most of the hits will just miss you.
I also feel like Bennett has kind of affected how squishy people think characters are, because Bennett getting triggered
Yeah.
like with the reaction on Bennett is the worst thing in the world.
Oh yeah, that's
Hey,
true.
till you get the Dory and you're getting hit by Hydro and you get electrified all the time. It's actually worse than the
Yeah,
than the
I don't
Dories.
know. Like, I used to think Chaska was like a really squishy character, but then I played her without Bennett, and she can tank shit.
Mhm.
And
You
also,
should play her
also
with her.
Farina.
Sadly,
Also-
you shouldn't play her without
Yeah,
Bennett.
Reno ditch.
Yeah, also if
Uh,
you're playing
speaking-
Farina with a single target healer, you just feel like all your support. Oh my god, Bennett Farina teams against Tulpa. Jesus Christ. And
No,
you
Speaking
can
of Chaska, like I think it would be so nice if she got a very good like non-Mavwika team, because like her gameplay loop, in my opinion, was very like it's just so easy, and against things like Papila and whatnot, she's just so nice to play.
she does like 80k DPS, let her cook.
I
When-
think Chaska's biggest issue in that she wasn't allowed to use Farazon. Imagine Chaska being allowed to use Farazon, like fully.
Yeah.
There you go.
I-
All of a sudden the
No,
character
well,
is good now.
I don't necessarily think so actually, because in replace of Farazon, she gets Movika. Or just stronger buffers.
Because the
Mav-
thing is, what I'm thinking, right, is if
I'd say
all
that
the buffs
the
from Farazon apply to all her damage types, not just Anemo, right?
That would be too good.
It would be too much, but that's my
Yeah,
point,
yeah.
right? That's
I
what we
remember
No,
in
I am
beta there was like a
okay, let me just tell you
mistranslation
this.
where people thought Chaska would
Dude.
deal Onoma damage with the properties of other elements.
Yeah. That would have also been really
If
cool, but instead
Farazon
we got
applied to
orange
every
fluid.
element, it will be kind of stupid. Farazon is like one of the best niche buffers for her niche.
Yeah.
Making her global will just pretty much destroy the game.
No, they don't mean making her global. It's if like let's say Chaska, her bullet, like she dealt Onoma damage, but like the bullets would still vape or something. Like it had the properties of the elements while being assigned Onoma damage. The way Farazon
Like
could do
basically,
all of it.
Farazon would
I
specifically
think
work
that will
with
be
Chaska.
cool because one of Chaska's main weakness is having no shred in most of her comps until you put Citlali in. So without Citlali, she has no shred available, unless you put Vivi on her, which is cringe.
And
Wait,
also,
Flip,
a lot of
what
people
is-
forget that like Farazon actually has a attack buff, and not just from the set. Like she actually gives
The flat
attack
attack
buffs.
buff?
It's relatively small, but it's there.
It's very,
Well,
very
it's
small.
a flat increase.
It's like
flat-
100
yeah,
flat
it's what-
flat damage.
No,
or
it's like
something.
200. It's like 200. You can get like 200.
Wait,
200.
Flip,
Oh,
flip, flip.
wow.
Insane.
flip.
Yeah.
What Flip, what is Chaska's best non-Mavika sequel team?
No Malvika no Sitlolly.
Jansan, maybe?
It should be
I don't know.
Furina.
It's Bennett, Frina, Eonson. And you have to do a rotation to get 3 scroll buffs, which is kind of difficult.
No, not really. You just get the well, actually, no, that's not true.
Actually, no, wait.
No,
No,
yeah,
actually, no. There's a new tech. The new tech. You can do a pyro normal attack with Eonson. Never mind. It's consistent.
Oh, yeah, true, I used that
I think
time.
it should be. I think you can do it. Okay.
The
That
tech
makes
is,
sense.
Yeah,
the tech is so
that's
cool
perfect.
against
Yeah.
Tulpa.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, what I'm hearing is, if I want to play Chaska in Stygian, I'm gonna need another Hydro character for Skirt, which means I need to which means I need to farm galleries to free up Mavik or Furina. Okay. All right, I'll try
Did
it.
we go on enough tangents? That is the real question.
Okay, I guess.
Hello.
Why is
I
my
f-
PC exploding?
Oh no.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah. When was the last time we had a proper Batcast tier list meta PvP episode? Because
we don't really
I think that would
do
be fun.
those.
That would be
I don't
fun.
think never.
Yeah, I know we did a top 5 supports and top 5 carries. I think, or top
Yeah.
5 units. We
We
can
did-
we can revisit the top 5 units of every element.
But would it
That'd be
be
fun,
worth
actually.
doing that
Like-
before Lunar comes out?
Stygian changed so much, like just the meta and which characters. Like actually doing damage is so much more important now. Sustained DPS.
Yep.
Yeah. But also the issue with that is you'd have to decide which difficulty you're talking about, because there's a huge difference between Dire and Fearless.
It doesn't matter. It's just damage is still damage. It doesn't change. Like Fearless doesn't mean you don't have to do damage anymore. It's the same. It's just less damage.
The meta is the same.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
fair. If we're just talking DPS, then yeah.
Okay, with that, I guess we have a topic for the next episode. Maybe we do that on 30, like episode 30, because it's a pretty number. We've done
That'll be fun.
27 episodes. 27.
Yay.
Isn't that crazy?
27.
Okay. Thank you all for coming. If you want to... Oh my god, I'm so immature.
Focus.
Thank you all for coming.
Coming.
I can. If you
I
want to
truly
join
came.
if you want to join the Sucrose Stans podcast, you can. My Discord is in the description. You can text me, and then I will see if you qualify, and then you can potentially join. And otherwise, see you in the next one. Bye bye.
Bye bye.